Welcome back to Coffeehouse Convos, my weekly show where I talk about automotive news, events, and my opinions. This week, of course, is Easter Jeep Safari, which is going on right now as I speak. And as you see this video, it is from March 23rd until March 30th or 31st. So it should be going all week. And Jeep has brought their 4 concept cars to Moab, Utah to test them off-road. And I'm going to talk about all of them today in this video. But first, thank you to my 5 recent followers: Paul Sabitpour, George, Miro Mori, Katie Weagle, and Marabus Emirov. Thank you guys for subscribing. Now let's get into today's video. I recently got a new bag of coffee. It is Stumptown Coffee Roasters hand roasted hair bender, citrus and dark chocolate. I got it at Safeway, so if you have a Safeway near you, it's probably there. Try it out, it's really good. It's got a good chocolatey flavor, which I love, and I've been really enjoying it. So, let's get right into Easter Jeep Safari. So, if you don't know what Easter Jeep Safari is, it's a yearly event in Moab, Utah, where Jeep builds concept vehicles, which means that these vehicles will not be made for everyone. They're not production vehicles, they're special, one of one, custom made by Jeep, just to prove what they can do. So they showcased 4 concept vehicles this year at the time of I'm recording this video. And the reason I say that is because last year they brought 7 concept vehicles out, and that makes me think that they might be bringing 1 or 2 more as the week goes on and as the event progresses, because 4 concept vehicles is kind of light, especially when last year they had 3 more. So the first concept vehicle I'll talk about is the Vacationeer, which is based on the Grand Wagoneer, very similar to a Grand Wagoneer build they did last year. It has a rooftop tent, and it's basically built for bringing the whole family on vacation on a camping trip. So a couple of cool things about the Vacationeer is that it has custom fenders with extra space, because this thing has 35-inch tires, which is huge for a Grand Wagoneer. Another thing I think is really cool is that the interior has custom plaid seats. I love seeing plaid seats in modern cars. I think it looks great. I don't know why more car manufacturers don't do it. The Volkswagen GTI has plaid seats in some of the models, or in some of the vehicles, and it's just a really cool touch. It also has some wood grain on the inside, kind of throwing it back to the vintage style of the interior. The exterior has a custom paint job. It's really iridescent, looks pretty awesome. It's got custom lighting, and the rooftop tent is carbon fiber. So this is a pretty cool build. It's definitely more of a premium build, which makes sense because it's the Grand Wagoneer, and that's a premium vehicle. It has extra skid plates. It has the new turbo inline 6-cylinder engine making 510 horsepower. So this thing is pretty quick, and I think their new Hurricane engine is awesome. And I think we'll probably see it in more Jeep vehicles in the future, maybe even some Wranglers. There was a photo that TFL Car posted, or it might have been TFL Truck, but one of the Fastlane YouTube channels posted a picture of a Jeep Wrangler that said Hurricane 500 on the hood. So that's not one of the concept vehicles that they showed here, so you know, maybe that's something that's coming later in the week. But it would be awesome to see the Hurricane 6-cylinder in a Wrangler, because it seems like a really cool engine that's brand new. So next is the Jeep Wrangler Lowdown. This is based on the Wrangler 392 platform. It has carbon fiber fender flares. It's got the custom carbon fiber hood with the viewing glass so that you can see the 6.4 liter V8 that powers this thing. It's got 42-inch tires, which is massive, and no lift. So they did a lot of custom work with the fenders to clearance all that space to fit 42s and no lift. That's why they call it the Lowdown, because it has no lift. I think that's pretty awesome. They put Dana 60s under the vehicle, so instead of the Dana 44s like in the regular 392 Rubicon, it has Dana 60s to handle that 475 horsepower and the 42s that are it's under the hood. Next up, the third one is the Gladiator high top concept. So we went from the low down to the high top. This one, it's a little more subtle. It has custom 70s inspired paint scheme, diamond stitch seats, and this one has Dana 60s as well, just like the lowdown. And it's because this one has 40-inch tires, so big tires again, but doesn't have a big V8. It has a 3.6 liter V6 that's in most Wranglers. Tried and true engine, very reliable, but nothing insane. The cool thing about the Gladiator high top is that it has adjustable air ride suspension, so you can, by the push of a button, raise it, lower it, any height you want, you can get. So that's kind of more of a simple, bringing back the classic design from the 70s with the custom paint job, some cool interior touches, pretty low-key build, but cool to see. And finally is the Willys Dispatcher concept. Jeep usually does a Willys build that's inspired by the classic Jeep. And this one is a really cool version. So it's built on the Wrangler 4xe chassis, so it has the 2-liter 4-cylinder turbo engine with the hybrid plug-in hybrid system. And I think it makes like 475 pound-feet of torque, 350 horsepower, something along those lines. So it's not slow, but it's cool that they do the vintage style builds with that modern drivetrain. I think they do that on purpose. So this one has Dana 50 axles with vintage military style steely rims and vintage tires. So it's got the classic military look tires, and they're skinny tires, which I think is really cool. Another good touch they did with the Willys build concept is they stamped the Willys word into the hood. So it's not just a sticker, it's actually stamped in there. And the interior has distressed leather seats, and they're low back with no headrest. So it's got the classic seat look that used to be in Jeeps from the past. Another thing to notice is the custom paint job. It's that really cool, almost mint green color. It's cool that they did the black window frame and the black roll cage. So the window frame almost disappears because it's such a contrast from the bright green color of the body. And one more thing is the front and rear bumpers. They are made to look almost hand built, kind of reminiscent of the classic military Jeeps as well. So if I had to pick a favorite, it would be a difficult choice, but it's between the low-down concept, which is the 392 V8 Wrangler on 42s with no lift. It's between that and the Willys concept that I just talked about. I mean, obviously, it's hard to walk away from the 6.4 liter V8 in a Wrangler, especially when it's low on big tires. I think that would be a really fun driving experience. Obviously, it would sound insane. And something else about the 392 build is that they took out as much weight as possible. I already said that they have carbon fiber hood, carbon fiber fender flares, but they also took out the radio, so it's just a blank panel just to save weight. So this thing is quick, but the classic look of the Willys build is something that's hard to beat. So it's between those two. Please leave a comment which one you think is the best, and whether you would pick the Willys or the 392 if you are down to these two decisions like I am. And I think it's weird that Jeep didn't bring an all-electric concept vehicle to 2024 Easter Jeep Safari, because they usually do. Last year they did the all-electric Wrangler, and it's weird that they didn't bring an all-electric concept to this year's Easter Jeep Safari, especially because now the electric vehicle thing is getting so big. It seems like it would make sense, which makes me think that later in the week they're gonna reveal an EV, and I think they're gonna reveal the Recon. They announced the Recon alongside the Wagoneer EV. They even have on their website, they have Wagoneer EV and Recon EV, but they only have pictures of the Wagoneer. They haven't released any official pictures of the Recon. So something tells me that since they didn't have an EV at this year's Easter Jeep Safari, they're gonna unveil the Recon EV. So that's all I'm gonna talk about for this week's episode. It's just the Easter Jeep Safari. Usually I talk about events, but this is the event and this is the news all in one. So let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next Wednesday. Today's video, you might notice, it came out in the evening instead of the morning like it has been. I'm moving the time from the morning to the evening. I think it makes more sense because it's a Wednesday. So with that being said, thank you for watching. See you guys in the next one. Peace.